Well, looks like we've finally finished our test drive. This is the Yamaha Star Venture 2018. I believe the third generation Venture. I got this bike about July of 18, so it's been about 20 months, and my odometer just hit 100,000 miles, so I consider that a decent test ride. As you can see, I'm not very gentle on my machines. I just got back from Chicago, where I got caught in snow. The weekend before, I was in Minneapolis, where I got caught in snow. Again, so I've had this motorcycle for just about 20 months, and I'd like to give a little feedback, a little review of what I think of it. Now, of course, Yamaha donated this motorcycle to my million-mile journey, so Yamaha is supporting me, and coming off Yamaha Super Tenere, this was a big change for me. Different seating position, different style of bike, air-cooled V-twin, low RPMs, big honking, heavyweight, luxury touring cruiser. This motorcycle is a cruiser. My feet are way out in front of me. Totally different than riding a Tenere, totally different than riding any other sport bikes, sport touring bikes, adventure bikes, things that I'm used to. That was one of the concerns I had. The seat, my tailbone. I've had a lot of spine issues over the years, and I wasn't sure that this bike would be able to work for me. Amazingly, 100,000 miles later, I'm still on the stock seat. I've done nothing to the ergonomics other than raise the bars once, about 1 centimeter. The bike is pretty well stock. It did nothing to the exhaust. It did nothing to the engine. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. I've changed the oil religiously about every 12,000 miles. More than double what the factory calls for. I did check the valves once. I think at 50,000 miles they were dead on, so I never checked them again. I put in a couple of air filters. I'm on my second set of spark plugs at 100,000 miles. Other than that, change the oil and tires. I did front brake pads and rear brake pads, one set each. Some of the things I like about the bike, well, the wind protection is incredible. The ability to adjust the airflow, whether it's in the summer or in the winter, keep the cold air away from you, keep the cool air on you, different times, has been awesome. The adjustable windscreen has been great. The mirrors, I find the mirrors perfect. I know a lot of guys that raise their bars way up here tell me that their mirrors are in the way. Their arms are in the way of the mirrors. Well, that only makes sense. You've put your arms in the way of the mirrors. If I had my arms up there, my arms would go to sleep. I don't know about you. This is a big honkin' V-twin, 1900cc air-cooled V-twin. You had a lot of people complaining about about it being an air-cooled bike. Well, what the hell's the complaint? I haven't dripped a drop of antifreeze. There's no coolant leaks. There's no coolant to change. I've ridden this bike in 2 hours of traffic in New Jersey in August, sitting on the New Jersey Turnpike, and the bike doesn't overheat. It gets warm. It certainly gets warm. Any motorcycle gets warm. The important thing when the bike is in those kinds of conditions is to always make sure you're not revving the piss out of it. Keep the RPMs under 2,000 RPM if you're in traffic, in heated traffic, and you won't have an issue. Short shift the bike. Don't try to be bouncing off the rev limiter as soon as traffic lightens up and you want to whack the throttle, get some air under your armpits. That's the wrong thing to do. Just let the bike roll along until you get out of that traffic. Other than that, I don't really notice any heat at all. 6.6 gallon gas tank, and depending on how you ride, you can get anywhere from 30 to as much as 50 miles per gallon, which means 200 to 300 miles before the red light comes on, which gives you another gallon plus with the reserve light on. So incredible amounts of distance. Again, the stock seat has been great. The audio system, I never thought that I'd be listening so much to an audio system on a motorcycle, but I found myself listening to XM radio, listening to different music. You can hear the audio clearly at well in excess of the speed limit in any state in this country. So I've been told. Storage on the bike is great. You've got pockets up here to store things that you can reach when you're riding. You've got tons of storage in the saddlebags, and the trunk is enormous. One of the gripes I have about this bike is that Yamaha didn't put a light in the trunk. The trunk is so huge. During the day, I can't find all the crap that I've stored down at the bottom of it. So a little trunk light would have been cool. Again, if that's going to keep you from buying the bike, well, I don't think there's any bike out there that's going to suit you. Air-cooled V-twin. The power of this bike is incredible. The torque. You can start off in third gear. Not that I recommend it, but you can. 6-speed transmission. You've got the 2 drive modes. There's touring and sport mode, and basically I call it everyday mode, and when it's raining or snowing is when I would put it in tour mode. But sport mode is just got a lot of torque. It's quick, it's fast. The bike has tons of power. The handling is great. For a bike this size, you're gonna think it's gonna be a big fat pig on the highway or the back roads, or how about Deals Gap? I've taken this bike to Deals Gap. The bike handles awesome. Once you crank up the suspension, a lot of people say they're dragging the center stand or something's dragging every time they go around a corner. If that's happening, I guarantee you that they've got their shock set way too low. There's 25 clicks, 1 through 5 on the dial, meaning if 5 is 100%, 4 is 80%. Well, if you're running this thing at 2 or 3 and you've got yourself, maybe a spouse or friend on the back, your luggage is filled up, you've got to get the shock up to about 4, 4.5. You're running at full weight for this bike. Crank that shock up. It's still as smooth as a sofa down the highway, but it won't bottom out in those bumps. Throttle control is awesome. Cruise control. The lighting on this bike is incredible. I did add the Denali optional factory accessory lights, which certainly help a lot, but the stock LED lights on this bike, one of the best I've ever had in any motorcycle I've ever owned. And I've owned 45 motorcycles over the last 30 years, somewhere near 900,000 miles. So I've got a little bit of history on motorcycles. I ride a lot at night. I ride a lot straight through the night, and this bike has got great lighting. Brakes on this bike. They are linked brakes, and they work effortlessly, seamlessly. For a big, heavy bike, it stops great, and great control, great feel. Sometimes when you get the link brakes, you get some odd feelings. This thing never gave me an ounce of trouble, even in riding in the snow and everything else. The link brakes work the way they should. I was a little worried about having a belt drive. I haven't had a belt drive motorcycle, or I had one, but for a brief period of time. So I wasn't sure about the belt drive. Well, here we are at 100,000 miles, and we've had no issues with the belt. I don't even check it in between tire changes. I change the tires and the oil about every 5 weeks, 10,000 miles or so, and that's the only time the belt actually got adjusted, and it's been fine. A couple of nitpicks on the bike. The GPS on the bike is not the best I've used, and there's no motorcycle out there that's going to be able to compete with your cell phone and the ability to do mapping in your hotel room, sitting in your underwear at night, or planning a route, or even just all the updates and things that a cell phone can do instantly. You're not going to get that in any vehicle GPS. So the GPS is a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's outdated, maybe it's a little slow. Doesn't do all the things you want to do if you're traveling crisscrossing the country. The good news is that that kind of stuff is all programming. That kind of stuff can all be fixed and is going to be fixed. Nothing to worry about. I never relied on one GPS anyway because I travel every single day across the country, places I don't know. So yeah, the GPS could be a little better. Can it be fixed? Sure. Is it a problem with the bike? Absolutely not. I had a little rattle in the dash. I put a little sponge, one of those stress balls. I stuck it inside the dash. The rattle went away. Problem solved. No big deal. So things that I love about the bike, well, the storage is incredible. I've never had a single drip of water. I've ridden in 800, 900 miles of pouring rain on a day, and no leaks, no water leaks. Again, the wind protection really puts the water up and over you and around you. That's awesome. The rear lighting on the bike, the brake lights, it gives a great view so people can see you coming. Same thing with the front. I don't get cut off on this bike ever. I hardly ever have to use the horn, maybe once or twice in New Jersey, sorry. But the bike is seen, people can see it. Handling, I haven't done anything for the suspension since I got the bike. Once I set it up, the front forks probably could use a oil change, considering there's 100,000 miles on those front forks. I'm still running the Bridgestone Excedra tires that came with the bike, and I think I've done 10, 12 sets of tires in the 100,000 miles. The tires have never let me down. I haven't gotten a flat with this bike, but if I do carry a plug gun kit. What else? Ergonomics, again, I love the seating, heated seats, heated grips. I added an accessory plug so that I could run a heated jacket liner, heated pants, and heated socks when it's, you know, below 10 or 15 degrees and you're riding all day on the highway. You want to make sure that you're staying warm. Integration, I did add the J&M audio dongle that plugs into the trunk, and what that does is that allows me to use a wireless Bluetooth headset, and I can hear everything on the bike, CB radio, intercoms, all the Sirius XM radio, all of that, but also I'm allowed to use my phone separately from the bike, which I like, so that I can use all the features of my phone. Windshield up and down is great. Again, I leave it down almost all the time. The only time I've put it up is if I've had a passenger. I raise the windshield up so that the wind goes up and over the passenger's head. I don't know what else to tell you. 100,000 miles. I've been very happy with this bike. I've taken it in the snow. I've taken it in extreme cold, you know, negative to 7 degrees for 700, 800, 900 miles. In fact, it's February, I don't know, 12th, 11th, 12th. And this year, since January 1st, I've ridden 15,000 miles, almost exclusively below freezing temperatures. The bike runs great in the winter. The traction control, it works, keeps you from sliding out, as you can see from my last video in the snow. Traction control is holding up. ABS, I only remember the ABS activating 1 or 2 times, and it was probably coming to a stop, and something was slippery, whether it was a little ice or sand, and I felt the traction control, the front wheel, activate like it should. No issues with that. Very happy with the bike. I mean, this bike runs, I run it pretty hard. I run it pretty fast. I'm on the highway, freeway quite a bit. It runs at triple-digit speeds, smooth, solid. The mirrors don't vibrate at any speed. There's no vibration in the bars. The only time you know that you're riding a V-twin, or the only thing that lets you know you're riding a V-twin, is the exhaust note that you can hear, which I think is an awesome sound. It has an incredible sound. And also, if you grab the tank with your knees, you'll feel the V-twin pulse. But other than that, the floorboards are vibration-free. The handlebars are completely vibration-free. The mirrors, you can read somebody's license plate behind you at 100 miles an hour. That's incredible. Like I said, I've owned a lot of motorcycles, and even 4 cylinders, even 6 cylinders I've owned have not had, or you know, equals the vibration free of a V-twin. That's crazy. So air-cooled V-twin, it isn't going to hold up. It's not going to last. The bike's heavy. All those things are ridiculous. 100,000 miles. I didn't follow the factory maintenance schedule. I know Yamaha's not happy about that, but you know what? I didn't. And the bike still runs, starts, runs great. No issues whatsoever. I'm very happy with it. Keyless ignition, I've got used to that. I'm not a big fan of the alarm, so I just unplugged that early on. I'm sure there's other people who like it, but to me, wasn't necessary. I mean, who's going to steal this bike? It looks pretty nasty everywhere I park it, but that's because I ride the damn thing. Yeah, it's dirty. It's dirty because I rode it. I rode it 4,000 miles in the last 10 days, and through snow, through sleet, through salted roads, and the bike just it never gave up on me. And that's the thing with me is I ride every day, so my motorcycles have to hold up. They have to last. They have to be durable. They have to start every day. They have to run. They can't be in the shop for even a couple of days because I need to be somewhere. I need to be somewhere tomorrow. So anyway, that's this is my 100,000 mile review on the 2018 Yamaha Star Venture after almost 20 months, just under 20 months, and it's been an incredible bike. I mean, I very happy with all aspects of the bike. Power, handling, transmission, shifting's been great, braking, everything has just been great. The amenities, the heated seats, heated grips, stereo sound system, the luggage space, you know, really has been a great bike for me. I really, you know, when people said going from the Super Tenere to this bike, you know, it must be incredible. It's so much better and all this stuff, and you know, it's going to be comfortable. Well, I had the Tenere set up really well. I love my Teneres. I had 2 of them, and I really thought I'd miss the Tenere more than I did. I didn't think I'd like this bike as much as I do, and luxury cruiser, and there really isn't anything else out there like it as far as dependability, durability, size of the motor, the torque, 126 foot-pounds of torque, the electronics, all the gizmos and gadgets, and like I said, I've got 100,000 miles on it. Everything works. Everything's working great. It's been a fun bike and dependable. And for me, you know, I'm out riding every single day. I ride for business. I travel the country as a patient advocate. I share my story to groups of MS patients, people with chronic illnesses all over the United States. And every day I need to be on this bike. Every day I need to be somewhere else tomorrow. And that was the one thing I had told Yamaha when they were discussing possibly donating this bike to me, was that I really appreciate it, but I'll tell you right now, if the bike starts to give me trouble, or if I have issues with the bike, or I can't depend on it, I can't ride it. I can't continue to ride it. I would have to get onto something else. And they assured me the bike would hold up.
I don't know if you can see it, but I got 100,000 miles on this bike. 100,000 miles!
20 months, 100,000 miles later. 100,000 miles on Yamaha Star Venture. And not a single issue. So take it from me, this is a great bike. I've been very happy with it, and I'm looking forward to the future. As some of you know, I've been talking with Yamaha about going back to an adventure bike, and I'm pretty excited that Yamaha has offered me to do a little test ride, shall we say, on the new Yamaha Tenere 700, which will be here in a few months. And I'm looking forward to it. This has been a great bike. My test ride for the Yamaha Star Venture is coming to a close. Looking forward to getting on another Yamaha, and I'm sure it's going to be just as dependable as this. I'm going to miss the heated seats. I'm going to miss the XM radio. I'm going to miss the adjustable windscreen. I'm going to miss some of the luggage space. I really appreciate all the people that have supported me in my million-mile journey over the past 7 years. Of course, Yamaha, Bridgestone tires, Twisted Throttle. We've got Rob's Dyno Service. He's been helping out. Mom's Motorcycles of Manchester has been a great sponsor of mine. Aerostitch, all my gear. Look at this stuff, coated in salt from the last couple months. Aerostitch has been an incredible sponsor. They make the best gear. I wouldn't wear it if it wasn't good. If it wasn't the best stuff out there, I wouldn't be wearing it. HJC has been providing their top-of-the-line ARFA helmets for me the past year or two, and been very happy with that. There are tons of other sponsors. I know I'm missing out a few, but everybody's been helpful, helping me out, and really do appreciate all the help that people have given me. We're at 415,000 miles that I've documented riding for multiple sclerosis. I have raised $180,000 for 2 charities with your help, joining my fundraisers, MS 5000 and also the MS 1000 saddle sore, as well as all the stupid human tricks that I do, the fundraisers and the world record attempts. Look for my next world record attempt coming in the next month or two. Should be a lot of fun. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. That's a way that you can throw me a couple of bucks every month. Patreon, Longhaulpaul on Patreon. Also, as you know, I have a line of t-shirts and things that I sell on my website, which help me selling my calendar every year. And then, of course, all the donations that I do receive go to the charity MS Views and News. Been raising money for them for the past year and a half. They're great supporters of mine. They help promote everything I'm doing, and they also they ask me to present at their events, which helps pay my expenses. So once again, thank you for following Longhaulpaul. Like, share, follow Facebook, YouTube. Please, trying to grow my YouTube channel. So subscribe. It helps me get sponsors. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Like, share, follow. Get out of the way, because I'm on a mission, chasing the cure for multiple sclerosis. Thank you.